This is a special webinar. This is a Friday morning webinar. This is August 1st, 2025. The title of today's webinar is Synchronized Success, a Prop Trader's Guide to Cloning. And as everyone should know, everything that's said and done at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. There's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars I have, live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? And if not, we'll go ahead and get started. And again, this is being recorded. So let me go ahead and get rid of the standard disclaimer. And for some people that are new right here, let's go ahead and go over a little bit about us first. My name is Gary Donahue. I've been trading futures for a long time, longer than some people have been alive probably, but Charles and I actually started Viper Trading Systems back in 2009. And Charles is no longer with us. He passed away in 2022. But basically, Viper Trading Systems has always been about teaching futures trading so that a bunch of you won't fail at it. Because anybody that's been through the school of hard knocks and really learned to trade, then I think it's a good idea that you kind of pay back, so to speak. Teach other people to trade. That is the sole purpose of Viper Trading Systems, is to teach people to trade futures. We don't trade options, we don't trade stocks, we don't trade anything like that, okay? Been around for 16 years, and by the way, you can get right in touch with us. You know, it's not one of these email experiences. We do have email addresses. Just go to our contact link, and you'll notice that we do have email support through support@vipertradingsystems.com, and also Viper licensing at vipertradingsystems.com. And I've got to change this. If you go to Skype, it goes to Teams, but I need to change this. But you can get a hold of me on Teams, which is Microsoft type. You know, like they took over Skype is what it really boils down to. And this is also beautiful because unlike most vendors out there, we have a phone number, and I even carry that phone with me when I'm out for the evening or something like that, or even out groceries or whatever. And if I don't have it with me, I will get a text even, because even my personal cell phone gets text from all this right here. So the hours we're open is Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central to 5, and I try to get all of my calls done by then. I have occasionally, actually more than occasionally, probably help people like overseas and things like that, because not everybody lives here. Sorry about that. We've got a guy doing some yard work here real quick, and unfortunately, she's going to bark at that. All right, so if it gets too loud or anything, I'll mute it for just a moment. I didn't realize the guy was coming right at my webinar. Okay, so anyway, basically, if you want to get in touch with us, these are the ways to get in touch with us. Okay, we do also have an area of our website that's for members. Now, whether you take a trial with us or you're a full-fledged member with us, you get these modules, okay? You get a certain amount of modules depending on, you know, what stage you are with us. And it's very important because, you know, for instance, you want to learn how to do Object Trader. That's a strategy I'm going to show in just a minute. You want to watch some of these videos. You want to watch this Let's Begin set of videos to learn the 3 trade type setups that we love. Also download your trading manual. You can also get your scripts right here too. Okay. Now in your email that we sent out, we have been chosen by NinjaTrader as a day trading leader. If you go to NinjaTrader, you'll find that there are 12 day trading leaders that have been chosen. And since we're V for Viper, we're the last one, but we are there. Okay. Now that's a milestone because there are over 600 vendors with NinjaTrader and they chose 12. And when I was talking to the main guy at NinjaTrader, he said we were at the top cream of the crop on those 12 too. And they have allowed us to even show our actual figures and everything because we proved them. So, you know, if you go to our website, to give an example, you will also see that we have proof of payouts and everything, okay? And we have to get permission from them to do the next sets of them and stuff. But if you just click here on more proof, this shows where we're at as of July 21st on our trades with these prop firms. Okay. Now, one thing that I want to show today that's just amazing is what we call cloning a trade. Okay. Now, cloning a trade, basically, you'll simply want to use our object trader feature, and you right click on your chart and you go to strategy, and then you get what's called object trader. See object trader, and then you simply enable it. Now, when you enable it, we do these in sim. The reason we do it in sim is because our main chart is going to be charting in sim, stops, targets, and things like that. But the magic of cloning is that those stops and targets will fire on your actual accounts. So for instance, if I put this in sim like this right here, okay, and then I want to go to check my clones out, okay, if you check your clones out, you'll notice that, see, right now I'd be trading in sim only. But if I turn these clones on, and right now I've got blue sky up here because I use that connection to go into, but those are blue skies right there. So all I would have to do to trade this is just simply choose the clone that I want. And you can have as many as 200 clones. Nobody has, and it would even go down way past the chart and everything, so it'd be kind of hard to keep up with. But I do have people that have 20. And I think I've even got some that have 40, but very, very few people. Linda and I, between us, that's my wife, we have 20 Apex accounts. We also have what's called Blue Sky. You can see here, this is my Blue Sky right here. And we've, gosh, Take Profit Trader, you've got Tradeify. You can clone anything you want, is the beauty of using clone. And the idea of using clone is that every time you take a trade, you're cloning at time X number of accounts. Now, I'm sure everybody in here knows what copy traders are. Apex has one called Trade Copier. Replicanto has one, Replicanto. And basically, they simply, you choose a master account, and then you choose your accounts to basically copy. With ours, it's even simpler, in my personal opinion, because we put everything in sim, and then we clone the accounts we want to clone. Okay, and by doing that, you're going to simply stack up those numbers. I showed in the room this morning, I did 1170, but I did it times 8 accounts. My daughter this morning, she did 400, but she did it times multiple accounts also. I think she's got 8, if I'm thinking that's how many she's got. I don't know exactly for sure, but I know she's got more than 5, so I'm pretty sure she's got 8. Okay, my son, he has 6 fully funded PAs, and he has 4 evaluation accounts. Those 4 evaluation accounts he can clone his PAs or whatever he wants to do. Okay, but again, the power of cloning is you don't have to make a lot of money. To give you an example, my wife, as a rule, and she's a funded Apex trader, by the way, and she's very good at it, she will only go for a couple, sometimes $300. But by doing even $300, let me show you the power of this. And this is huge in your trading. It's totally, absolutely huge. Let me scroll this down just real quick and show you what cloning does. For one thing, just so you can see that we are the real deal, by the way, this is an actual certificate from Apex, 40 grand, another one for 35, another one for 10, and there are multiple of these, by the way. 10 for my wife, 2750. She got 16 of these. And this is the power of cloning right here. Notice that, see, these are PAs right here, okay? $300 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts. That's $1,500 in one day on true PAs, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's $1,500, and that's one trade. So see the power of cloning? And by the way, once you get to the point where you're way up on your PAs, see, this is a $150,000 account. That's $24,000 in equity on that account. There's $25,000 on that one, 26, 25, 24. Okay, these take profit trader accounts weren't funded yet at the time. See these right here? These were evaluations at the time. But if you keep doing cloning, you step up there mightily. Okay, here's another set of PAs. This was my personal ones right here, and this one was up 20,000. This one was up 47,000. Okay, and notice that I cloned these accounts, 1, 2, full PAs, and then even did it on some evaluations. Clone, 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 clone. Isn't that beautiful? That is a perfect way to trade, cloning your accounts. I can't stress it enough that, and it's so much more beautiful, in my personal opinion, than even some of the copy traders out there, because you have to remember what your master account is, what your copied accounts are. Well, with us, you just simply leave it in sim, and let's say I wanted to trade in sim and fire a contract. It's not trading on my clones until I actually click them. If I click it, I can do it in full contracts and hit the button. I can do it in micros and hit the button times my multiplier. So by doing this, I can actually say, you know what, maybe the market's slowed down, it's sideways and everything. Maybe I just want to do micros right now. You see what I mean? So I can choose to do that. The power of clone will make a huge difference in your trading. Now, I've had a lot of questions in the past over, well, why don't you just trade live accounts instead? I've got live accounts, okay? But if you want to get these magical payouts and everything that are available out there, just to give an example, let me just show you. And this was at the time, Apex, as of December 19th last year, had paid us over $238,000, 32.63. Those are real figures that went to our bank. Now we have to, every time that we do this, we have to go through Ninja, have them look over everything and make sure it's all real. And I won't post it again until it is. And they've got bought out by a company called Kraken. So I'm not sure we're going to be able to show this in the future or not. But these are real deals right here anyway, up to the point. If they let us do it in the future, that's fine. If they don't, they don't. Because these are real figures that they let us post. These were actual deposits to our bank account. Even Take Profit Trader, by the way. Take Profit Trader down here. Take Profit Trader here. The beauty of cloning is it will make a world of difference in your bottom line. Anybody have any questions on that so far? Because your success in trading depends on how well you do and how well you get paid by these prop firms. Now you can also, if you want to, you could simply leave this in sim. You could clone your live account if you wanted to, but anytime you didn't want to clone it, you just simply leave it turned off. So you could play to your heart's content with the sim. And then you say, you know what, that looks like a pretty good trade. Turn on a clone and fire the trade. It's that easy to do it. Okay. Now, one thing that I stress in my trading room, and I think this is one of the reasons that Ninja picked us, you don't want to overtrade. Okay. What you're going to end up doing when you overtrade is you're not going to think things out. You're not going to diagnose your charts properly. You're going to willy-nilly jump in a trade just because bars are going your direction. Well, you may be right and you may be wrong. Okay. So what we recommend doing is once you get to a nice figure for the day and you're done. That figure I showed in the room this morning was times 8 accounts. Well, multiply that out and that's $10,000 for the day. That's plenty. Do I need to trade this again and clone? No, I don't. Because what I believe in is once you get up to a nice figure on real calculated trades, you want to stop. Okay, now let me show you something that I teach in my room. Because these trades were called in real time, by the way. I want to show you a couple of trade setups that were called in the room this morning. We actually traded this trade. That's a $200 trade. What if you cloned that times 8 accounts? That's $1,600. Here's another trade I called in the room. That's 10 ticks at least. That is another, so that's $400. Now times 8 accounts, that's $3,200. Then we got this beautiful phantom trade and even had another confirmation dot here. So that's another $200 right there. Okay, so there's basically, before I open the room, after I open the room right here, there's one contract, or pardon me, one trade here, one trade here, one trade here. I even called this one here. So basically you have 200, 200, 200, 200, another 200, and another 200. We literally got $1,000 in that choppy garbage right there. And when you clone it, guess what? That's it. Could you be done for the day? The answer is, of course, why not? Because if you want to get these real figures from these real payouts, then the way you got to do is you got to trade right. Now, one thing at Viper Trading Systems, and believe me, NinjaTrader vetted us big time. They asked us over, now it's been 8 months ago, they asked us if we would mind giving them a complete membership at no charge so that they could come in at their will. They wouldn't tell us who was even coming in. They said one of our people will come in, and I thought it was for compliance, because obviously when you're calling trades and everything, you got to comply somewhat with, these brokers. So, and NinjaTrader is a full-fledged broker. But I found out 6 months after that I was invited in by a gentleman that's head of development there. And he said, hey, we've been really impressed with your method, your basically your trading system as a whole, and most of all your teaching and the ability that you're teaching people from like scratch. In other words, good and basic and how to take trades. And so we were picked literally out of over 600 vendors. And that's, like I say, that's a huge honor because some of those that are on that list, by the way, are even full-fledged brokers. We've been in business 16 years, but I'm not a broker. And I don't want to be, frankly. I just want to teach people how to trade our system. Now, could I go trading somebody else's system that they're going by, moving averages, RSI, all the different things? Probably, but not as well. Because in my trading room, where we call these trades, we're just trying to scalp these and try to write a runner if you can, okay? Because writing a runner is important. But what if you simply got something like this right here? This trade didn't stop you out. It came close, by the way. But this trade right here was called, and you got a beautiful $200 bill without getting stopped out. So there's $1,000. There's probably even more here and here. Those were also called. But then it started breaking down. Beautiful breakdown, by the way, on crude oil. And we started marking on our charts where it would bounce. And when you get what we call a line in the sand long short, it actually goes the other way. This trade was also called right here. This is what we call line in the sand long short. And that was a 10-tick trade to the upside, by the way. You can find the same thing on gold. You can find the same thing on all of them. We also called this trade when it broke what we call line in the sand long short. You got the short trade. And by then, you're pretty much through trading, by the way. Because again, if you use the power of cloning your trades, get some of these great buys with, Apex, Take Profit Trader, whoever's out there. And if you're not trading correctly yet, don't go buying a bunch of them. Just simply buy one of them and then pretend you're cloning it and see how much money you could make. For instance, on these trade calls I did today, if you did 1170 on one account, that's pretty darn good. You'd be on your way to funding it, right? But think down the road though, with our scripts, with the quality of teaching that we have as a vendor, how much you can make. I mean, with Apex's money alone, I was able to give my son $62,000 just right out of the bank account to help them do upgrades on their home. They bought a brand new home. They closed on it in May. And this was basically like a dream type situation for them. They wanted to get a bigger home. They got 3 kids. And I told my son's wife, I said, why don't you just go crazy on your upgrades and everything? She goes, well, we can't afford it. And I said, well, you can now because I'm going to pay for them. And the way we paid for it was Apex paid for it, but they paid for it with clones. Between Linda and I at the time, we had 7 fully funded Apex accounts, full PAs, and just simply give money beautifully to my son to go ahead and upgrade those countertops, upgrade the patio to 4 feet longer, upgrade his garage to 4 feet longer, all those type of things that make a home well worth living in. How about a sunroom for your home? That type of thing, right? So again, the beauty of cloning and the beauty of futures trading, by the way, I'm going to go over a little bit just real quick to let you know. I basically come from a retail background. I used to have 4 appliance stores, TV and appliance stores years ago, and I had those from the time I was 22 until 25 years later. And so I've been in that situation to where you've been feast and famine. Okay, we had it to where we had great years, we had some that weren't so great. Overall, though, we stayed in business for 25 years. And the one thing that I really think that taught me over that period of time was to take care of myself, because if you think about it, nobody out there should have to take care of you. You're a person that should be able to take care of themselves. That's why at Viper Trading Systems, we have developed some of the best software out there. We have one of the best trading rooms on the planet, I firmly believe. We were picked by Ninja Trader because of all that, and we teach people to feed themselves, because I don't believe in all this junk of, people standing in line to get your money that you work so hard for. Does Jeff Bezos owe a little bit of taxes as being a multi-billionaire? Well, sure he does. But are we owed any of his money? He made his company. You make your own way in life, and I'll guarantee you'll love every minute of it because you earned it. Somebody didn't give it to you. Nobody should be given anything, in my personal opinion. But anyway, we won't go into that. But again, use your brain. We built some of the best scripts out there. About a year and a half ago, our programmer built this called Clone because I wanted a trade copier and I wanted better than what was out there. Matter of fact, let me show you something. How many of you, by the way, have Apex accounts? Just curious, and I won't mention any names, but I want to show you something here. We built such a strategy that we even have Apex rules built into our strategy. You'll notice on here, they used to have a dollar cost averaging rule. Well, we've got it built in. If you don't want to add a contract until you're profitable, you can turn on dollar cost averaging rules. That what used to be an Apex rule. We've got features about hedging. It's against CME rules to go short on YM and long on the ES. Did you know that? You're not supposed to hedge. Now, to me, I think you should be able to, because I've seen lots of times where YM you can definitely scalp it short and ES long, but you can't hedge. And Apex will kick you out of their PAs if you do. So we've got it built into Object Trader. We've also got built into the clone even down here, where Apex has some rules about a daily 30% negativity rule. We'll warn you if you get close to that. We'll monitor your clone account positions so that you'll know that you're in sync. In other words, let's say you're trading 10 accounts and something happens really quick and you get a partial fill on 4 contracts on maybe oil. Maybe you're 2 on one and 4 on all the rest of them. Well, Object Trader will warn you that you're out of sync, and then it's up to you to go to your positions to get back in sync. Okay, and we'll teach you how to do all that, of course. But Object Trader is quite a little behemoth. I had this built over the last 7 or 8 years, and this little strategy right here has literally tens and tens and tens of thousands of lines of code in it, and it's a beautiful system. To give you an example, let me show you something here. See these little dots right here? This is called a mid-band power dot. We called that trade right here on this. Now this one right here got you in also, and that was a little bit early, but something else I teach my traders to do too is don't go in with less than a 50% retracement on that small of a move, and that's 50 and that's not. So most of our traders skipped that trade and only took that trade. Okay, so this was a beautiful trade, by the way, but those are called power dots. Here's an example of them right here. At 7:30 when I opened the room, so 7:32, this trade was called right here on a power dot. You never got stopped out. That's 10 ticks. Same box, 10 ticks. Power dot again. See no power dots here? Power dot, 10 ticks. Power dot, 10 ticks. So these power dots, a lot of our people use this. We've got all kinds of other features too. I'll show you here real quick. To give an example, we have what's called a band trader. You can just simply do 6-tick bands and take trades accordingly. You can move it up or down at any given moment. You can make it disappear by just going up to the top or down to the bottom, either way. You can even do bar close trades. If you turn on bar close and say, you know what, I want along with the bar close, and by the way, we're not cloned. If that bar closes up, it would take it up, and you could even say, you know what, if it closes down, let's take it down instead. So this can all be done on the fly. See, there's a bar close probably down. It's got one more tick to go. And then you get a trade as soon as it does. Now that's a little late because I would have taken it more like here because our predictor said to. But see how that does that? Fires the trade. Now notice we didn't clone that, so it's not on my live accounts. So you're just trading in sim. You can move your stop on your chart at any given moment if you want to. Say you don't want to take a chance of losing anything on that. What if you said, you know what, break even, and I want to go only 2 ticks, break even, and it'll put your stop literally where you're still 2 ticks above break even. What if you wanted to do minus break even? You go 2 ticks behind it. So we got, like I say, we got all kinds of things built into this system, and you'll love it. But the beauty of it is, again, and I can't stress it enough, what makes my wife and I and many of our people more money is this right here, Viper Clone. Because when you clone your trades, you're cloning them times X number of accounts. I had a gentleman this week that's been with us quite a while, and he said, well, got 800 today. I go, that's awesome. That's a good day. He goes, times 20 accounts, fully funded. So what did he make? He made $16,000 that day. Now I showed with the power of clone, I was able to actually bring in between my wife and I back in when we were helping my son with the house, the updates and stuff like that, the upgrades. We did 57,000 in 1 week. And that's the power of that clone. Now, could we have done that with just one account? Like, let's say you have $1 million account. Very few people do, but let's say you had $1 million account. Are you going to take a chance with 20 or possibly 30 contracts? No, probably not. But what if you said, you know what? Let's say you've got 14 accounts like my wife, okay? And you decide to go for strictly a $200 trade with a $200 drawdown. Then she's only taking a chance with $200 per account. But by doing that times 14, that's $2,800. See the power of cloning? The power of prop firms is literally upon us, people. You can make so much money with prop firms that you won't even believe it. Now if you can't trade properly and everything, don't go buying 20 accounts, because believe me, if you can't pass them, the next month comes around and they'll bill you again. And if you accidentally blow one and you reset it, they'll still bill you again. Even if you reset one, they bill each month until you pass. So I highly recommend don't do that. Okay. Now, if you do know how to trade and you do know how we call and everything, let me show you something here real quick. Let me go to Apex Trader Funding right now. All right. See, Apex has a 80% off evaluation right at this time. Now that's pretty good, because if you get down to, and be sure don't use wealth charts because that's not Ninja Trader, but your rhythmic plan right here, or Tradeovate, you could do Tradeovate. This is rhythmic, but see, this is 177 per month, but at 80% off is like $35.40, I believe that comes to. So you can buy a $50,000 account for $35.40 with my promotion code, and I'll show you where that's at. And by the way, if we can get a bunch of you to join today, because we're the real deal and we're going to teach you to trade and we're going to get you right, you join up today with our discount on our system, and I'll buy you one of these accounts right here too. That way you can actually go ahead and start getting an account funded. Okay, now the next month's on you if you don't pass it, but this account right here is only $2,500 drawdown and $3,000 to pass. Once you pass that, then you've actually got a really truly funded account that Apex will give you the first $25,000. After that, they give you 90%. $150,000 account, that one runs like $59.40 a month, maybe a little bit more than that. Let me think. 80%, 320, about 77 a month. Okay, these run a little bit higher, obviously. Okay, the power of this right here, though, will make a world of difference. Now, I've got people that are with me that are not cloning, but they're still doing like one account. They leave this in Sim. See where this is charcoal background here? And then if they decide to clone, they just simply turn on their account and they clone it. Notice that that trade, if we would have left it on, would have literally gotten you easily $100. That's again the power. What if you did that times 8 accounts? That's the power of cloning. I think we've got some of the best scripts out there. We've got it to where you can tell when the trends change. See how beautiful this is? Changes to red, stair-stepping mid-band, first time in. Changes to green. You get the picture, right? My wife and I actually traded this morning, and I teach this in my trading room too. When we got up at 6 o'clock, because I get up at 6 o'clock so that I can get some of my trades out of the way. All right, what we did is we looked to the left to trade the right, and I saw that oil was in an uptrend for the most part at that time. Okay, and all they did is bounced off that support right there. My wife and I actually went long at 67 right down here, and just right through here. Now we weren't up until here, so we went long at 67 when it went up there through 67, and then it came back one time against us right here. This is where we got up. Let me show you. 6 o'clock right here. And you can't get your computers on, get your coffee and everything else till about 4 or 5 minutes afterwards. So basically right through here is where we started looking at this. And all they did is barely take out that low. So we got long right through here. I think it was 67. And what that did is just barely pull back and got you in nicely. See, and it never really went against you because you went long at 67. And by the way, one thing my wife noticed too, and she's a very good trader, she noticed that our stealth turned green as we were getting in. So that's a little feature that we've got in our trading system that's really nice. Okay, and my daughter, she goes, gosh, I missed that trade. Okay, so what I told her at this time, and my wife was actually texting her, I said, well, get long at like 93 and put your stop just under the swing at 80. And she didn't get a text her in time, and it went up like this, and she literally got in at 09. When we got this little pullback, it went long at 09 right up through here, and I thought she was a little bit late, but then all of a sudden oil went boom. She felt a little bit of heat though, but she got $400 on one contract. And if you were trading oil this morning, this literally did this within about a minute. Okay, and then I opened the room and we got that trade, all these trades through here, we got that trade. And if you cloned them like I did, well, you saw it a minute ago, it was 1170 because this was in Sim. The others were cloned. Okay, so between my wife and I today, you know, with her getting her $2,800 and I got 1170 times 8, well, do the math. That's a pretty good way to make a living. And that's what here at Viper Trading Systems I want to teach you to do, is so that you can make money every single day in trading. Sure, you're going to have a bad trade occasionally, but you should not have a bad day. I mean, you've heard probably other webinars where traders said, well, there just wasn't a trade today. There's always a trade, but you have to learn to see it in these little swings. because you could see that oil went from long to short. By the way, this was long and I called it right there above 89. We went long. We got that trade. We went long this one, got that trade, and we went short when it broke this. And what is oil doing right now? Well, oil right now is barely taking out the low, just barely. And I would tell you right now that until it breaks this right here, you're not looking for longs. But if it does, and by the way, that's right now. Now, if this was to go up like this and go down again, then your new line in the sand would be lower. And we teach that as it's really moving. You could look at gold to give an example right now. See what it's doing. See, gold, when we were in the room this morning, I want to show you something here. Look at this trade. This was called live in the room too. We opened the room at 7:30ish, not at 7:30 even because there's news on at those times, but look at these beautiful trades. About 7:32 is when you want to start trading. So you're waiting for a pullback. That was called in the room. Did our scripts also call it? That's called a mid-band power dot. Boom. Another mid-band power dot. Boom. Another mid-band power dot. Another set of mid-band power dots here and here. Here, this trade was called. But if you think about it, if you just drew some of these on your chart and you got 10 ticks, 10 ticks, 10 ticks, what if you didn't get this whole run, but you just simply got $1,000 on 5 trades? That's a beautiful key to trading this system. It's a beautiful way. And not only that, then you clone them and you get some of these really, really nice trade setups. Look at here, even at 744, another set of those. I could even show you on ES where we got some trades this morning. We close the room at 10 a.m., open the room at 7:30. Look how many bars go by on 4-range bars. By the way, in the room this morning, if you were with me this morning, I called this trade on ES. This is called a phantom. It was right after the room opened, so that's when I start looking at charts for you. And we actually called that trade right there. And that was another beauty. That's called a phantom trade, and it was taken on that bar right there. See that dot right there? That's called a phantom power dot. And all you got to do is get a few of these. And what's the secret again, anybody? Cloning. Clone your trades, because that is where the money's at. Did ES stay to the upside all day though? What do you think? I teach people to see the line in the sand long short, high, low, higher, high. Right through there, if they break that, they could break down. And if I remember right, ES did break down pretty much before 8 o'clock. Let's see if they did. Little bounce, there it is, they broke down. See it? And there's your first mid-band trade, right at my line. See how that works? And look how our scripts tell you that the trade's there. You know, was the trade there at that time? No. But when it breaks that, what we call the line in the sand long short, is it there? That's a good 10 tick trade. That's $250. You take your coin, then you wait for a retrace and you take it again. Or you just ride the runner and see. Here's the key to trading though. Have you ever noticed that when they thrust down like so, that they always retrace almost to where you got in or even a little higher and then roll over? So that's a conservative trade. That's an aggressive trade. The aggressive trade, you just want to get 10 ticks and close the trade out, or leave one runner on and then add another one here and then get that monster. Okay, and notice that our scripts will stay the right color as long as that's trending to the downside. Okay, so I would like to ask everybody in this room if you'd like to be a part of Viper Trading Systems and join up with us. And in your email, you actually got a special link for joining us. So I'm going to go here to futures trading pricing. Now on our website, the pricing is $2.99 a month. Okay, but if you just simply use this code right here, -3617, you'll get it for $249. And on top of that, I'll buy you an Apex $50,000 account. Okay, and all you have to do this is simply put in your full name, email address, phone number. Okay, you don't have to apply a coupon because I'm already giving you the code. Okay, and then you just simply put it on your card. And it's a recurring deal. It's every month. But if I can't make you $249, then I'm not doing the right thing. And Ninja would have said, hey, you're not the real deal. We would have never been picked. But they vetted us without even telling us who was coming in our room. We didn't know, because once you have a login with Viper Trading Systems right here, and you go to the weekly links, we can't tell who's coming in. We just know that there's a bunch of people in the room. Maybe they're in on a trial. Maybe they went in on the contact link and got a special link for the week, that type of thing. But NinjaTrader was in here vetting us to put us as one of their 12. Kind of like the disciples, right? 12 chosen, pretty cool. And pretty soon, we're going to get it to where you'll actually see, I'm kind of next to a couple of cute looking gals, but we'll have a picture of my wife and I instead of just the Viper Trading System logo. And it's also going to say some stuff about real trades. And they're launching that literally starting today and through next week. They're going to send to over 100,000 traders that these are the 12 that they've chosen. And I think by doing that, it's going to get us pretty busy. So if you want to get in on the bottom rung, so to speak, join up with us now, get you a free Apex account, and let's get you cloning in the future. Because you know, when I had 4 appliance stores years ago, I mean, granted, things have changed a little bit since then, but with brick and mortar stores, Linda and I never had like $250,000 to spend. Couldn't have dared help my son with $62,000 in upgrades. You know, in other words, you didn't make that kind of money with brick and mortar stores. But futures trading, over 90 some odd percent of futures traders fail. Now that's a big number. But what I try to do is I try to make that number a whole lot less, because at Viper Trading Systems, we've got the proper scripts, we got the proper training, and I'm not going to tell you it's going to be just success overnight. You're going to have to do your homework. You're going to have to study. You're not going to just turn on Viper Object Trader and just start trading it. You're going to have to learn a little bit. And that's what all these modules are for, is so that you can learn. Let's begin, for instance. You click that module right there, and this explains our phantom trades in detail, explains our mid-band trade setups in detail, our line in the sand. If you can do those 3 trades right there, you can make money every single day trading. And we prove it time and time and time again. If you go to my website and look at those proofs, to give an example, you know, I haven't uploaded since the 21st, but if you notice on the proofs right here, on these trades right here, this is cloning. See that? 140, 140, 140, 150, 180, 180, 180, 180. That's cloned, one trade. This is one without cloning. You can tell. See, that was simply going, well, this looks like a pretty good trade, but I'm not going to take a chance with all my clones because I'm already up for the day. So I traded one account instead of all of them. And you have the power to do that, because clone, you just simply go in and tell it which accounts you want to trade. So if I turn this on and go back up to clone, I just choose my accounts. Now, if I do my other connections, like Take Profit Trader, Apex, and all that, a bunch more will show up here. And then you choose the ones you want to clone. Clone all, clone 1, clone 2, clone 3, do micros, do minis, however you want to do it. It's like a smorgasbord. You choose exactly what you want to do. But the power of clone is the ability to turn small gains into huge amounts of money. And we proved it with 7 accounts drawing over $250,000 from Apex. And you can do it too. I'm not telling you that you can't, but you do have to learn some stuff. You have to learn what's a phantom power dot, what's a midband power dot, what's a regular power dot, what's the stealth, why are the backgrounds changing, why is it stair stepping? You know, all those things you just have to learn, but we're here to teach it. I even have features like Fibonacci's built in. By the way, these are called auto fibs. They're not just Fibonacci's. They're called auto fibs. They work with the price. As the price is moving, those auto fibs will continue. To give you an example, like right this very second, let's go to the edge of the chart. That Fibonacci right there looks like about a 61 to me. Let's see if it is. 50, didn't quite get, almost got to 61, really, really close. See what I mean? So you can get to where you can eye those on your chart, but that's a 61% retracement on a big move to the upside. So could you be ready with what we call the line in the sand long short to take a trade to the long side? But stair stepping midband, this could easily head down too. Your line in the sand long short is right there. And so if it stays under that, you're shorting. If it goes above that, you're going long. It's that simple. Okay? And again, the power clone, what if you said, you know what? I'll take a chance on 3 of my Apex accounts instead. You don't have to clone them all. What if you had 20 accounts? Apex does allow you to have 20 fully funded PAs in your family. So if it's a husband and wife, 10 and 10, 8 and 12, or whatever. Okay? But keep in mind, you can also go to other companies too. Show you here just real quick, and then we're going to wrap here pretty soon. I won't keep you all day. If you go to Viper Trading Systems and go to our prop firm discounts, that's our code for Apex right there. Please use it, because if you use theirs, they make all the money. If you use these, the affiliate makes the money, and we've been an affiliate with Apex for as long as they've been in business. Take Profit Trader, we have a really cool code called OT Viper, all caps. And let me show you something about this company called Take Profit Trader real quick. Bear with me a second. I like them a lot because Take Profit Trader has the ability to pay on a daily basis. Looks like I've got to clean my cash out because it's not going to Take Profit Trader. They may be doing some maintenance, who knows? We'll find out here real quick. Let me clear data and I'll go into it again. Take Profit Trader, here we go. Yeah, here we go. All right, so Take Profit Trader, don't use their code, use mine, OT Viper. But on Take Profit Trader, they build their pro account into their evaluation. So where Apex is $35.40, these people are 102, but that's including when you get funded. So if you're a good trader, this is your better deal. If you're not a good trader yet, then Apex is better because you're paying $35.40, and if you mess it up, you can get another one for $35. But when you get funded, you have to pay a $140 fee with Apex, so that this is actually cheaper if you can trade right. Okay? Anybody have any final questions at all? I'm going to go ahead and show that discount again, Viper Trading. Let's see here, where were we at? Let's go to futures trading, pricing again, and just like I said, put in dash 3617 after that pricing, and you'll get the 249. Okay? And just send an email letting us know you want one of those Apex evaluations, and send us an email showing that you bought one, and I'll refund you the $50,000 account so that you can get some of this money that's available out there. Apex, to give you an example, pays extremely well. They have paid out over $500 million. That's a lot of money. In 90 days, they paid out 57 million. On an average month, they pay out about 14 million. But did you know that's only to about 2 to 3% of traders? It's true. That's the traders that are making the $250,000 and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm here to change in this business, is to get it to where all of my traders can make money trading. Was that a beautiful trade call that I made on ES just a few minutes ago? See where we drew our line? It rolled over. I said that was a short unless it took out 62.83. If you traded that trade while I was teaching that, you just made yourself 400 bucks. And our scripts were perfectly in line with it. It was telling you to take the trade. Okay? So I want each and every one of you to join me, because there's going to be a day that we're going to probably start shutting it down a little bit more, because when I call trades and like someday well over like 2,000 or 3,000 people hear that same trade, it's going to get a little bit more difficult. Right now, when I call trades in a room, there might be 200 or 300 people trading that trade call. But what if Ninja Trader's sending out 70,000? They get 70,000 new members every month, by the way, at Ninja Trader. They're worldwide. They're very large. You know, they've been in business a long time too. They're owned by Kraken now, and they're a multi-billion-dollar company. And so you think they don't get some traffic? Well, that traffic's going to be kind of sent over to those 12 vendors, and we're one of those 12 vendors. So very shortly, I got a feeling I'm going to get more business than I know what to do with, or at least more support. Because one thing about Viper Trading Systems is that I try to take care of everything on a phone call to phone call, email to email, or even Teams, which used to be Skype. So if you want to help putting scripts on or something like that, just download TeamViewer right off our website, and I can even help you put scripts on. Okay, so you know, you could be set up and going, ready to go for Monday with us. You could have an Apex account set up and ready to go. And if you don't want to trade it right off, you don't have to. But right now for $35.40, that's not a bad deal on Apex, because it's not that cheap normally. Yesterday it was like 88 bucks. So today it's only $35.40. Just use my code. And again, my code is Viper Trading Systems, Pop Firm discounts right there. Okay. So if you do a Take Profit Trader account, use my 40% code, which is OT Viper. If you use Apex Trader Funding, use that code right there. And one thing again, to just let you know, if you happen to click this little chat widget right here and click chat support, you can actually, I'm not sure what, my guy may be working on this. I do have him working on my chat, so it may be working on it right now. Yeah, evidently. I'll have him make sure that he gets whatever. But anyway, you can go to my contact link and you can get a hold of me right there. That's the same thing as the chat right there. Just put in your email and even write a message to me, and it comes straight through to our phones. Okay, so appreciate everybody coming. Hope you enjoyed it. This webinar was about synchronizing your success, and believe me, if you can trade prop firms, you can make a lot of money, because prop firms is the answer. What if you would have cloned that trade just a few minutes ago with one contract? You realize that in that one contract, you're already up $500. And our scripts totally told you to take it. And I even told you to take it. That was a power dot. How about if you missed it? There's another power dot right there, right near mid-band. You could still be up 250. Okay? So we're here to help you. And now, if you join today, just to let you know, my wife and I, since it's Friday, we're going to actually go out to lunch together and go to a movie. But I'll be around when we get back. If anybody, you know, decides that you want to join up and everything and want to get set up, I'll help you. I'll even help you on Saturday. My wife's going to a bridal shower tomorrow for our little niece. So she'll be gone, but I'll be here, and I'll be more than happy to help you on a Saturday. So we're pretty hard to beat, truthfully. I've been told lots of times, you're not only the real deal, but you're there for support, because support's key. How many of you have had to turn in an email and you got live accounts going and nobody gets back with you for 48, 72, 96 hours before you finally get something? What if you had a trade stuck or something like that? Give me a call. I'll help you. I helped a guy in the room this morning because he lived in Australia, and right during the room, since we weren't in a trade, I said, man, I'll help you real quick. Let's get that fixed. And so I did a team viewer right during the trading room and fixed his situation. Now, I don't normally do that, but he lives in Australia, so it was pretty much his bedtime. Okay? Join up with Viper. I'd love to have you. And again, we're going to get more than likely more business than we know what to do with here in the next few weeks, because NinjaTrader is rolling out their day trading strategy leaders in a big way. Right now, you have to find us, but they're going to make it to where they literally promote us. So that's going to be huge for us. Okay, but we'd love to have you, and we'd like to teach you how to trade our system. Okay, with that, anybody have any questions? Ran it right in an hour. No questions? All right, that'll be a wrap then. Thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And just remember, if you clone your trades, you can make big, big money. All right, bye everyone, thanks.